Hey guys, my name is Mo, and this is going to be my channel for trans stuff. This is Maddie. He's a German Shepherd Beagle mix, and he wants to be in my first video, so you're going to have to deal with that. I was born what I call AFAB or DFAB, which is assigned female at birth or designated female at birth, and it's the same thing. And basically I was born with all female everything. I was born with boobs and a vagina, and I will not hesitate to admit that at this point because it's very obvious. However, I'm not really happy with the fact that the world sees me as a female, and I don't think I ever have been. I don't identify as trans male either. I don't really identify as anything. After several years of research and soul searching, I've come to the conclusion that I identify as agender, which means that I don't have a gender identity. I don't identify with the gender binary. There's dog hair everywhere, holy shit. Also, I curse a lot, I apologize for that. I've experienced a lot of discomfort because of that since I was very little. My earliest memories are pretty much of me hating myself and not knowing why. And I know that sounds like kind of heavy, but it's true. It's how my life was as a little kid. I had no idea why I hated myself so much, but I did, and I was very uncomfortable all the time in my body. My dog wants out. Hold on. And at the time, as I got older, I figured, like, maybe I was just, being an angsty young person and things would get better, like, as I got older and stuff, but as I did get older and I realized that I still hated myself for no reason and I was really, really uncomfortable all the time, I just thought, maybe it's hormones, maybe, I'm going through puberty or something. When I finally did go through puberty, I was 15 years old. I was a very late bloomer, and I gained 20 pounds in a month, which is probably a combination of poor eating and puberty itself. I had a very womanly shape at the time. I gained all of it basically in my hips and nowhere else. And sorry I keep touching my face, his dog hair is literally everywhere now. I had a really girly, womanly shape very suddenly. I started my period, which sucked, and people suddenly were objectifying me and, touching me, and it was a really terrible time in my life for me at the time because I didn't really know what was going on, and it, of course, just completely, I suddenly had boobs and hips and I didn't know what to do with myself. And that's kind of, the way that every woman at the time feels. They suddenly have boobs and hips and they don't know what to do with themselves. But, I thought I would just grow into it eventually, and most women do. I didn't. I actually resorted, and I'm gonna have a trigger warning here because I developed an eating disorder. I'm not going to share numbers. I'm not going to share any information other than that. But I did. I developed an eating disorder. I ate very little for, well, about 2 years, but the last 6 months or so it really developed into something really bad, and I ended up hospitalized, and it was to get rid of all of the weight I had suddenly gained and get rid of this womanly figure that I was very uncomfortable with for no reason. I really didn't know why I hated my body so much, but I did. And I developed an eating disorder, and I was sent to the hospital, and when I finally got out of the hospital, I thought, things were, starting to get a little bit better, but, and they did for a few months, but after that, everything just sort of relapsed again, and I stopped eating so much, and because, I started gaining weight in my hips again, and I started getting womanly, and people were objectifying me again, and I didn't like, she all the time, and at the time I had kind of, shortish hair, I had cut it all off because it was down to here and it was annoying me. But it wasn't as short as this at the time. But anyway, I had stopped really eating, and then, I thought, not eating isn't going to solve my problems. I'm just going to get bigger. I'm going to go to the gym and get bigger. And I went to a school where sports was really, a college where sports was really a thing. Everyone walked around wearing sporty clothes and stuff. No one dressed to the nines or anything like that because everyone was just in stuff like this. And yeah, so I went to the gym at 6 or 7 hours a week maybe, and there were guys there that were huge, holy shit, there were guys that were so big, and I always envied them so much because, like, I wanted to get big like that. And I was, like, obsessed with it. Like, I would talk to my friend about it all the time, and she was, like, I developed a really tight, lean, feminine body, and honestly a really attractive, at the time, 18-year-old body. And I was still not happy. Like, I was really lean and feminine and tight, and I just didn't like it, and I wanted to get big and strong. I'd never been strong before, and I couldn't do it, and it was because of genetics and stuff, and maybe I was doing it wrong, I don't know, but I just couldn't do it, and I was very uncomfortable. Again, just a lot of discomfort my whole life. And my friend was just like, I can see you being gender fluid, and I was like, what's that? Like, I've never heard of that before. And I researched it, and I thought that was me, you know, like, I thought, you know, oh, this not being female all the time, not being male all the time, maybe, like, that's me. And I tried it for a while, like, experimenting between guys and girls clothing and whatever, and was still not comfortable, so that was kind of an awkward time in my life too, because I just sort of went back to saying, oh, I'm a cis woman. And after a little while of being a cis woman, I got back into researching, and I discovered the term agender, and I thought, you know what, that actually fits me very well. But the problem with that is that I have a womanly, obviously womanly body. I have curves, and not even, like, I'm not a big person, like, I'm kind of, like, normal sized, and I'm still curvy somehow. I have about hourglass shape, and I have a very feminine face, and my voice kills me. Like, my voice is so high pitched. If it were a little bit lower pitched, then I think that I wouldn't feel so uncomfortable with myself. But, you know, it's very obviously female voice. So what I'm hoping to do is go on a very low dose testosterone. I'm actually going to my doctor's on Tuesday, and we're gonna hope. I don't have a, like, letter from a therapist or anything, and I heard that you're supposed to, but I don't have the money to go to a therapist, so I can't really get a letter. But this woman who I go to is a psychiatrist, so I don't know. I really hope that she can get me testosterone, because I really think it would be better for my mental health and for my confidence and for everything if I could finally be happy in my own body, finally. And I know you're saying, Mo, you wear nail polish, so obviously you must be comfortable presenting as female. And I don't believe that the presence of liquid on your nails determines your gender, as much as, you know, as kind of like wearing a dress. Wearing a dress does not determine your gender. Men should be able to wear dresses without being made fun of. I don't understand why a piece of cloth is gendered. Same with makeup. If, you know, you have a pimple or something, you should be able to wear concealer and not be made fun of or called gay or girly or whatever as an insult for it. It's the same as wearing a suit does not make me a man. Has absolutely nothing to do with your gender at all. And I believe that if I were born with a penis, I would still wear nail polish and makeup. I would. I think so. Anyway, thank you guys for watching me. I know I'm not really that interesting, but yeah, this is gonna be my trans channel. Hopefully I will be able to do, like, updates and whatever on my testosterone. Low dose testosterone, hopefully. I don't see why not. She couldn't just give me, like, a quarter of a dose or something. But yeah, and thanks, and subscribe, and yeah, bye!